Hi friends, this is your tech expert Neil and you are watching HowISolve.com. In today's video, I'll share with you the best settings and tweaks that you can do in your TCL TV so that it can work as good as it can. We'll be optimizing the settings and we'll be disabling some apps. I'll also be sharing with you some ADB commands. So I have got here my TCL C6K 55-inch TV. You can use this optimization or bloatware removal guide for other TV models from TCL also, and even you can also use for other branded TVs, because I will be providing some commands which you can use to identify apps which are causing high CPU usage and high RAM usage. So let's start the tutorial. The first thing that we'll do is we'll go in settings. So open settings. In this we'll be disabling auto updates. And there are several types of auto updates. First, we will be disabling auto updates of apps. So go in settings and go in apps. In this, go in manage updates and disable auto update apps. Why we are doing this? Because app updates takes a lot of CPU resources, and usually then it's not required to update the app unless if the app is not working properly. And sometimes the updated app breaks some features and causes some bugs. So only update the app manually when you have got the time and when the app is actually not working properly. So go in the Play Store and then update the app. Disable auto updates of apps. You have to disable it from here, and also you have to disable it in the Play Store. So go in Play Store, open Play Store, and in this go in settings and over here auto update, and make sure it's turned to do not auto update apps. Make sure this is selected. So this is for the apps. Now we'll be disabling the Android OS updates. To do that, first we'll go in system and then in about and then in system update. Make sure to turn auto update off. Now the reason is auto update sometimes causes slowdown, it causes bugs to get introduced, because normally the TV manufacturer ships those security updates that are provided by Google without testing, causes some bugs which ultimately reduces the performance. You should disable the auto updates and you should basically never update our Android OS once it's shipped from the factory. Next, we will be disabling certain brightness related settings and certain eco settings. So to do that, simply go in settings, system, and in this go in power and energy. In this, open up energy saver, and in energy saver open energy dashboard. Make sure the brightness is never above 60, because increasing the brightness above 60 reduces the TV's life, and normally it's good enough at least for TCL C6K. This is particular to TCL C6K. This is quite bright TV and it's not required to raise it further. Higher the brightness you use, the lesser the life you will get from the TV, because the more strain it will cause on the LED backlight and the more heat it will generate. And if you continuously run the TV for long duration, that can reduce the life expectancy of the TV. So for TCL C6K, 50 is good enough for me, depending on how you have lit the room. My room is lit by around 60 watts of LED lights. So for that, 50% brightness is good enough for me. Make sure adaptive brightness is off. Adaptive brightness basically automatically adjusts the screen brightness based on ambient room light. So this basically changes the brightness settings of your TV, which is not what I need. I want the brightness to be constant irrespective of how the room is lit. So that's why I've turned it off. Dynamic brightness, this basically changes the brightness based on the picture content. So I keep this at off. So if you're watching after a particular time duration, you want to turn it off automatically. Based on your personal preference, I have kept it at never. Again, this when it is inactive, they want to turn it off. I always keep it at never. And sleep timer, if you are using the sleep timer feature, then you can use it. I keep it at off. System sound, this is an again annoying system sound that you get whenever you press any button. So that really annoys me, so I've kept it at off. So these are the certain power settings. Basically, brightness should be kept as low as possible to increase the TV's life. And adaptive brightness, again, you should keep it at off, and dynamic brightness also should be at off, because we want full control on the brightness number. I do not want the sensor or the TV's content to change the brightness. So you should keep these two settings at off. Next thing we'll be going in account and profile, in settings, account and profile. And in this, go into your particular account, and in this, make sure you enable app only mode. This basically causes the Google launcher to lose all those recommendations, video recommendations that you get in your home screen, And if you like that particular video recommendation page in your Google launcher, then you can keep this on normal mode. But I find that normally it's too cluttered, and that reduces the RAM of the TV, and that causes a lot of stutter, as well as you get pushed with content which you do not really need. And normally ad campaigns are also shown in that particular screen. So by turning app only mode, you'll get rid of not all the content, but at least you'll get rid of majority of the recommendations that is pushed on you. And in this, make sure in voice assistant you keep voice control on, but hands-free mic, they should be turned off. This basically keeps searching in the background. Whenever you say hey Google, the mic will get activated. So you should basically turn this off, because this consumes a lot of RAM and CPU in the background even when you are not using this particular feature. So if you are using quite often this feature, hey Google feature, then you can keep it on. But normally I find that most of the people, this feature is never used. It's just a cool thing to have, but very less practical importance. So turn this off, and once you turn this off, you also should turn off the TV's inbuilt microphone. If your TV has got, in C6K there is an inbuilt microphone, and the switch to turn it off is at the bottom over here. Once you turn off this switch and once you disable hands-free mic, what will happen is the orange LED light will glow, and this will glow continuously when you're watching any content. Then also it will keep on. This basically is kind of a privacy feature that they claim, but it's quite annoying. It distracts from the TV's content whenever you see this orange light. So to disable this, there is only one option, that is you have to add a black tape, or if you don't have a black electrical tape, you can use any color electrical tape and then paint it over using a marker, black marker. Use a very small tiny piece of black tape only to cover that light, that orange LED light, and do not cover the entire portion, otherwise your remote will stop working, because there are IR sensors over here which is used by a remote to turn the TV on and off, and also volume control. So that's how you can disable that irritating orange LED bulb once you disable the TV's mic. You can enable or disable personal result depending on your preference. I do not use Google Voice that much, so I've kept it at off, because normally I interact the TV using the remote, and very rarely, only for typing purpose, I use the Google Voice. So if you are using Google Voice quite a lot, then you can keep personal results on, but I prefer to keep it at off. Search filter, safe search, this again is off. This is a personal preference. So these are the settings in voice assistant. Next we will go in privacy. In privacy, go in users and diagnostic and disable the users diagnostic sharing. This basically allows Google to send crash reports whenever there is some issue in the Google OS. They send anonymous crash reports to the Google team so that they can find out what caused that particular crash, or Google or your particular TV brand, so TCL in this case. So this consumes the RAM and consumes CPU. It's preferred to keep it at off, because that will free up the TV CPU and RAM. Ads, again click on ads and simply disable the advertisement ID. This is basically used to create personalized ad campaigns based on whatever you have searched on Google. So once you disable this, that ad that will show up on a TV will not be relevant to your particular search terms, and normally this reduces the number of ads in a device if you delete the personalized advertisement ID. So make sure you disable this. This will reduce the number of ads and make it less appealing also at the same time. And Google Assistant over here, also the same setting that we saw in voice control, the same Google Voice Assistant. You simply have to enable voice control and disable hands-free mic, and all these things we have already covered. This is the same settings. In manage update in privacy, you have to turn off auto updates. So make sure in here also you have disabled auto update. Auto update apps is off. In security, you can disable scan apps with Play Protect. This reduces the installation time of the app. And if you are using a lot of third-party apps, and if you want to scan it with the Google Play Protect, then you can use it. The next thing that we will cover is enabling developer options. So we'll go in system and simply go in about, and in this you just have to tap 7 times in the product build number, Android TV OS build number. Tap 7 times. Once you do that, it will show that you are now a developer. Once you are a developer, simply go back, and in here you will see developer options. Hit developer options, and in this enable USB debugging. This is the first option that you have to enable, and then go down, and in this you will see transition animation scale and window animation scale and animator duration scale. These 3 settings will be changing. Window animation scale, you have to turn it to off. Transition animation scale also should be off. The default for both these is animation scale 1x. and animated duration scale, this should be turned to 0.5x. Basically, these are animations that are shown during the UI. Whenever you make any app switches, the window animation scale happens. And basically, app loading and app switching, that particular animation is controlled by the window animation scale. And this, by turning it off, you are not actually boosting your CPU, reducing the CPU load, but by default, the Android OS takes some time, like 1 second, to show you that animation that is switching from one app to another. So that makes the flow from one app to another very smooth, and it's appealing to the eye because of the transition animation. But at the same time, it consumes a bit of GPU and it consumes a bit of time. And if you do not want to wait for that particular animation to play, you can simply disable that animation. That's what we have done. And transition animation scale is again similar to that. Some transitions on the screen using this particular animation, you can simply disable it. Animated duration scale happens when inside the app, when you are switching some UI controls, like when I go from one option to another, there is some animation that is happening to show that the selected setting has changed. So that particular animation is controlled by this particular animated duration scale. And this I've not switched it off completely, because by doing that, the chances of you missing out where exactly the changes happen on the screen is high if you turn this completely off. So a good balance is keeping it at 0.5. That way you get some boost in speed, but you will not lose where the actual UI change is happening. So animation scale for animated duration should be at 0.5x. Rest both should be at off. Then go down. In this, make sure you have turned on force allow apps on external storage. This should be on. This I don't think is available in other TV brand, but in TCL, at least in the 2025 version, TCL C6K, this particular setting is available, and this allows apps to access the files that are present in the USB drive. So make sure this force allow apps on external is enabled. So this will allow the apps to access your external drive. It will allow to write files on that particular external drive, even if the app originally does not support that feature in the manifest. Next, we will be disabling couple of apps. To do that, I have installed a particular app. The app name is ADB TV. Simply go in ADB TV, click open, and this particular app will open up. This allows us to enable disable apps and also run custom commands, ADB commands. So to run this app, you'll have to first enable USB debugging that we covered before, and developer option has to be enabled. So anyway, once you launch this app, I'll show you the apps that I have disabled simply by filtering it. These are the 24 apps that I have disabled, and you should also disable it, because most of the apps are not that useful and they consume a lot of CPU and RAM. AirPlay APK, this is the app that is used when you screen share your Apple's phone screen with this particular TV. This is a feature of TCL C6K that allows AirPlay screen share from your Apple phone. Since we do not use Apple phone and we do not use screen share as such, we have disabled this AirPlay APK. User agreement also can be disabled. Some TCL specific app, this again I do not use. Miracast you should disable, because this is again used for screencasting Android phones, and if you are not using that particular feature, you should disable com.tcl Miracast. And setup wizard, again this I am not using. This is a Google specific app, and this is basically used when you initially factory reset your TV. In the setup wizard, Google setup wizard, this particular setup is used, but after that it's not required, so you can disable it. User guide, again TCL specific app, disable it, you do not require it. Gallery, this is again a TCL app, I do not use a TCL gallery app, so disable it. TCL channel plus app, again channel plus, if you are using a TCL channel app, then you have to keep it enabled, but if you are not using a TCL channel app, simply disable this. AirPlay, again related to the iPhone screen sharing feature, AirPlay screen sharing feature, disable it. Safety guard, this should be disabled at every time, because this is kind of a firewall, TCL's inbuilt firewall, and this slows down the system quite a lot. When this is enabled, apps do not stay in the RAM, they are removed from the RAM quite frequently. So simply disable safety guard, com.tcl safety guard, this should be disabled. TCL channel, again this is related TCL channel. If you are not using this app, disable it, because this TCL channel again causes a lot of bugs in the motion handling. I found that if you use TCL channel app once, then other apps cannot use the motion smoothing effect of the TV. That motion smoothing then gets restricted to only the TCL channel app. Solo, again this is a TCL specific app for basically some music content, I guess. So I'm not using this, simply disable it. Google Play Movies, not using. TCL server backup, some random TCL app system server, I've not found any issue by disabling this app. And it consumes a lot of RAM and CPU in the background, so simply disable it. TCL channel, again related to the TCL channel app, disable it if you are not using the TCL channel app. Magic Connect is a TCL home feature that is allows your phone from the TCL home app in the phone to connect to your TCL TV. Again, if you are not using that particular app, we should disable this Magic Connect app. TCL Home Passive, this is related to a TCL Home app that I spoke just before. You are not using, disable it. AirPlay, again related to the iPhone AirPlay. Again, you have to disable this if you are not using an iPhone, and if you are not screencasting your iPhone, disable it. User Center, again you have to disable it because it runs in the background every time. Disable this. Alexa, if you are using Amazon Alexa, then only you have to keep this. This basically supports integration of Google Voice with Amazon Alexa. But if you're not using Amazon Alexa, then you can disable it. Media Player, again a TCL specific inbuilt app, disable this because if you are not using this particular app, there's no point in keeping it. TCL Home, this is again some TCL Home app related to the Android app. And if you're not using a TCL Home app in the Android phone, you can disable this. Message box, I have not used it and I don't think it's any use at all. So disable this. Google Play Games, if you are using Google Play Games app, then you can keep it enabled, but I have disabled it since I do not use it. T Exhibition, some AI photo exhibition app, and this app again is not being used at all by me, and you do not need to keep it if you are not using this particular feature. So once you disable all these 24 apps, you'll find that the TV's RAM consumption has reduced quite a bit, and also the CPU's load has reduced. So disable all these 24 apps. If you're using TCL C6K, you'll find all these 24 apps in your TV and also in some of the other models. Some Google specific apps are also available from other brand TV. So if you are not using a TCL TV, I'll provide you 2 commands using which you can identify apps that are causing a lot of CPU usage as well as RAM usage. So using that command, you can identify those apps, and if you're not using that particular feature, you can disable them through this particular app. So to identify those apps, the command, you have to open the console feature in this, and in this you have to type this command. I'll provide the command down in the video description and also in the comment section, so you can check that out from there. Basically, this is the command. This is using the top command, and this allows us to see all the apps that have got particular higher CPU consumption, and I've sorted all the apps based on the CPU consumption. So once you run this command, this will be the result. Basically, it will show the total number of apps. 370 apps total there are at present. 369 of them are sleeping, 1 is running, and it will show you the total memory that is available and how much is used. In this, you can see the swap memory is there, and this is particular to TCL C6K. The 10 GB of swap memory has been added from the storage of the TV. It has been added to as a swap buffer memory, which is being used for app memory storage in the background. So we are concerned about CPU usage. So in CPU usage, you can see 400% of the CPU is the total CPU of this particular TV. This is 400 because this is a 4-core CPU, and for each core 100% is allocated. So 38% is being used in the user apps and 56% in the system app. So if you see, if the highest consuming app is at present the foreground app, that is this particular app, ADB TV. This is the name of the particular app, com.cybercat AB control app. So this is using at present 21% CPU and 6.8% of the memory. And this shell is basically the command which we just now typed. So this, you can ignore this particular shell app because this is a top command that we just now run to generate this particular command that itself consumes some CPU and RAM. You can ignore this, and the rest of them is normal system apps that are run in the background to display the images. So normally what you will find is, if there is some app that is consuming a lot of RAM and memory, you will find it over here at the top itself. In the top 5 of them, there is some third-party apps that is malfunctioning or consuming a lot of RAM and CPU. You'll find it on the top 5 apps. If you find that, you can simply identify it from the name, and you can then disable it using this particular app. So this is to identify the apps with high CPU consumption. If you want to know how much is the CPU temperature at present, you can run this particular command. Dumps this thermal service grep CPU. This basically dumps this particular thermal service details, and it filters it based on the CPU keyword. So in this, we have to check the value of the second temperature. The first one is the cached values. The second temperature value is the current temperature of the system. So as you can see, at present it is 65 degrees centigrade, and this is normal temperature when you are not streaming any apps. And normally, but in TCL C6K, what I found is the temperature rises quite a lot when you're streaming high bit content, like you're streaming Dolby Vision or HDR10 content. This temperature goes as high as 86 degrees centigrade. And at that temperature, it starts to stutter, and playback also suffers a bit if you continue to watch high bitrate content. So to fix that particular problem, and I've used a USB fan which I've connected to a USB port in the TV, and the fan I've stuck just behind the processor. So I've not opened the back panel. The fan is glued to the back panel. So after attaching the fan, I found that I was able to reduce the temperature by 3 degrees, not that much, but once you stop the high bitrate content, the temperature drastically drops because of the fan. Earlier, the temperature drop used to be quite slow. If your TV is also heating up quite a bit, you can also fix this problem by attaching a USB fan, and you have to identify the hot spot. You can use your hand to identify where exactly the TV is heating, and normally it is just behind the processor at the back panel. You will find the heat is getting generated maximum over there. So once you attach the fan in such a manner that it throws air onto that particular processor, not pulls air, it will allow the processor to cool down quicker. So that's the fix that I've used. If you want to boost your TV's performance even more, then you can install custom launcher, Projectivity Launcher. Basically, once you install this, the entire home screen interface will go, and you'll find this very clean user interface, and this reduces the RAM and the CPU consumption quite a bit. This is quite useful, but the problem with this is there are several bugs this particular launcher causes. Like if you press the volume button continuously, the volume does not increase, and if you restart the TV does not directly open this particular launcher. So I have got a dedicated video guide of how to install this particular launcher and how to mitigate all these bugs. And that particular video is members only. And if you want to watch that particular guide, you can join our membership plan. We have got a Trailblazer plan, which you can check by clicking on the join button down in the video description. Just next to the subscribe button, you'll find that join button. Click on that and you'll find that the Trailblazer plan. If you want to watch the members only video like this particular video, you can join our membership plan. And not only this, I'll also be providing one more detailed video guide of how to customize your remote controls, so that once you press the one button, a particular channel will launch, like NDTV in this case, or India Today when you press 2 or 3 beyond. Basically, you can set any channel, and you can use all other keys also to launch any particular app. So all these Netflix key, Prime Video key, everything you can customize. For this, I've used the TV Quick Action Pro app. You will need the paid app for this particular guide, but I'll show you how to configure the settings to launch particular channel directly simply by pressing the keys. So this is like the old days we used to watch the cable TV. You just have to press the number key and the particular channel would come. If you like this video, hit that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel HowISolve.com. I'll provide more such informative technology tips, tricks, and I have got several other videos on TCL C6K. You can check the playlist. I'll link that down in the video description. I've got a dedicated settings video. I've also got a 1-month review video. If you are interested in buying TCL C6K, there are affiliate links down in the video description. By clicking on that, you'll be able to contribute to this channel. We'll be getting a small commission from the sale that we get when you click on that link. That way you can support us. So thanks for watching, friends. This is Neil signing off. Bye bye.